Hello, it's Dawn Michelle and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a fun tarot tag, I guess, basically. So a couple of days ago I saw this thing on Instagram and I don't know where it originated from, but I saw it on Black and the Moon's Instagram feed. And it was basically called like loot drop or something to that effect. And the premise behind the post was basically if you were to be like in a video game, like what would be in your inventory like when you got looted. And so I just thought this was a fun idea because y'all know like I love my video games. So if I was in a video game and I was to be looted, this is what I chose that would be in my inventory. So I thought it would just be a fun little exercise. I'm going to turn it into a tag, so please feel free to play along, make a video response here on YouTube. You could post it on Instagram, just share in the comments below. Would totally love to know what loot would drop for you from your inventory. I've got an assortment, so I didn't just stick to tarot, although I do have quite a bit of tarot. So I'm gonna clear all this off and we'll dive in. So we'll start with the decks just in case you're not like interested in the other stuff. So I've chosen 5 decks here. Basically, I've got 3 tarot, 2 oracle, and each one kind of serves a purpose. So if I were to be looted, what loot would drop for me in terms of decks, I would definitely have a deity deck of some kind on me. So I do have several decks that I use for deity work, but the deck I chose is the Darkness of Light. This is the 4th edition. And as you may know, if you've seen my Instagram or watched any of my wrap-up videos over the last few months, this is the deck that I'm currently using for my work with Hades. And I do this in combination with the Hades and Persephone reading. I use Tarot of Persephone's Garden for that. I did not pull that out, but like, let's be honest, if the Hades deck is in my inventory, the Persephone deck probably would be too. But I've shown these decks so much lately. But I wanted to be true to what would be in my inventory, but not overwhelm you with all the same decks that you've seen 900 times on my channel. But this is what makes them, you know, favorites and makes them special. And I would definitely need some sort of deck for my deity work, for my devotion work, and so that would definitely be in my inventory. So another deck that would be in my inventory is just a comfort deck. So just any deck that I could pull out, because you know, if you're thinking about being in a video game world, you're probably like out adventuring and maybe things are a bit stressful. So when you're sitting around camp late at night and you're just like, I want to pull out some cards and do a reading, get a little comfort message, it'll be no surprise for me, that's my tabletop tarot. So this is my ultimate comfort deck. No, another deck that I've shown many times on my channel, but you know, when a deck just works for you, it just works. And I would definitely have this one in my inventory if I were out adventuring in a video game world. It is just full of characters and references that just really make me feel all warm and fuzzy. It's a great reader, like it's a solid reader too. I can use it for absolutely anything. And that's another thing that I really wanted to make sure that I had a deck in my inventory that I could take out and use for anything. Now I do say that this tends to be my comfort deck, right? It's the one I go to when I get a little bit stressed out, when I get a little bit upset about things, when I just need to take a moment, take a breather, or if I just need that comforting, supportive message, or honestly, like if I just need to make myself smile, this is a great deck for that. But it also is just a great overall reader. So it's one I could have in my inventory and just pull out and read with for any occasion, for any purpose, for any question, and it works beautifully for that. So in addition to having just sort of a generic tarot, I would also need to have a generic oracle deck. And like really, I feel like it would be really weird if I didn't have my own deck on me while I was out adventuring. So this is my Sacred Threads. This is the pocket edition because honestly, if I was out adventuring and I had things in a bag or a backpack or something, like I would probably want to grab the mini one. I do have a full-size version of this and it's in a beautiful Crystal Haven bag. But my pocket one, I do tend to use most often. So this oracle deck is just kind of a deck that represents things, energies from my own personal practice. It's got a single keyword on it. These are all drawn in Procreate, so I illustrated this deck myself. And it was a labor of love for sure. And so I think it would be really weird for me not to have my own deck in here, but it's also just one that I can use for absolutely anything. It's a great generic reader. I can throw down a couple of cards. It works great for a focus. It works great for a wrap up. And of course because I made the deck, I have personal connection to each and every card. So of course it would be a good one for me to have, right? Also, I love the mini size. It works really well for just kind of layering into my readings. And I do feel like it goes with a lot of the different decks in my collection, so I feel like I probably could throw it with any of these and it would work beautifully. So I'm gonna pull these two out together because in my inventory, I would have whatever decks I was currently working with for certain practices and things of that nature. So currently in September, one of the practices and things that I'm kind of working with in this month is working with the Tarot of the Secret Forest and my Brian Froud Fairies Oracle. Here's the backs of these. So the backs of the Tarot of the Secret Forest has black and white illustrations. And then of course we have the backs of the Brian Froud Fairies. Let me talk about each one real quick and then I'll just touch briefly on how I'm working with them. This is the Tarot of the Secret Forest. At the very beginning of the month, I was doing some work with Hades. And one of the things that I was working with was Hades as the unseen, that which is invisible, that which is unknown to us. And so I've kind of carried that theme over into some of the work that I've been doing in the month of September. And for that work, I've been using this Tarot of the Secret Forest because it has that sort of energy. It's got Fae in it, but it's also like Fae that exists beneath everything else. So they're largely unseen until we bring them into the light, into consciousness. And that's an energy that I'm working with this month. And so, of course, it would be in my inventory if I were to loot drop right this 5 minutes. And with that, I'm also pairing the Brian Froud Fairies Oracle. I am using the book with this one, so I guess technically the book would probably be in my inventory too, although I didn't include it in this video. This is such a great deck. I do find that I get the most out of this when I do pull in some of the stuff that's going on in the book, but I can work with it just kind of working with the energy and the imagery of each card. I've been using this primarily to pull a Fae as a guide for the session, the work that I'm doing, and then pulling my additional cards with the Tarot of the Secret Forest. So let's just do a quick little 3 card. I really enjoy these together. Again, you can see I've got my fairy in the middle, or my fae in the middle, and then what that's telling me with the Tarot of the Secret Forest is what's unseen around that energy, and that's kind of how I'm working with it. Sometimes I do pull in I'll flip the half the deck to get the back sides in for this particular one, but that's not a practice that I'm doing right now. I'm just working with it as my Fae focal point and then my Tarot of the Secret Forest showing me kind of what's underneath that, what's hidden, what's in the unknown at the moment. And this has been really interesting work. So if I were to loot drop right now, this would be the deck that I'm working with. I also did not include my fellowship decks because that's kind of like its own separate practice, but honestly, if I was going to be out in the world for a really long time on an adventure, I'd probably have my fellowship stuff, but I didn't include that just because this video would get really long if I included all of that kind of stuff. Just kind of trying to touch on the basics here. So this is a wonderful little combo that I've been working with this month. Love that little dude. So as far as the decks would go, I would have my deity deck or some sort of deck to do devotional work with. I would have my sort of cozy, comfort, everyday reader sort of deck. I would have my oracle deck that I could throw with anything, my all-purpose oracle. Then I would have whatever decks that I was currently working with for practices that I was engaged in. So let's move those up there because in alignment with that, okay, I would have to have dice. And I did not get a bunch of my dice out because like I have a lot. There's a whole video on my dice collection if you're interested in checking it out. But like honestly, I would probably have a dice bag. I do have lots of boxes, but those only hold 4 sets of dice, like comfortably. So I would probably have my dice bag in it. This is my Astarian bag that I purchased off of Etsy, like, and it's all decorated. I've got an Astarian charm on here. I've got a pin on here. I do not have a problem. But anyway, I would definitely need to have dice because not only do I use, dice for divination now. Again, that's a thing that I developed with Lisa. I'm sure y'all have seen it, heard about it. I would definitely need some dice to do some dice divination, but also if I were in a game, I feel like I would be in a game that would probably make some sort of use of fantasy role play, dice casting in some way, shape, or form. So dice would be an absolute must. So to be perfectly honest, like I have my Hades deck here, so I'd probably have my Hades dice, but like they would be in the bag, not in a bottle. So let's just do a few other random things and then I'm gonna go to the books that would be in my inventory. So another random thing, like I would probably have nail polish because That's like the only makeup I use, and I can't really stand it when my nails aren't painted, so I just grabbed the color that I'm currently wearing. This is the Moon Cat, and I do not remember the name of it. If it says it on the bottom, I can't read it, but it's from their Dark Arts collection, and it's basically just black. So I would probably have some sort of dark color nail polish so that I can make sure to keep my nails polished while I'm out adventuring, because that's important. I would also probably have a crystal skull on me. I just grabbed this one. You've probably seen this guy before. This is Chetney. He's a howlite, and he hangs out on my desk with me, and he's kind of a fidget toy too. I play with him a lot while I'm, working, editing, things like that, especially if I'm feeling anxious at all. And like, he's just a comfort to have, and he's got a great energy. So he would definitely be in my bag, in my inventory, maybe along with a couple other crystal skulls. Who knows? Depends on how long I would be out adventuring for. But I would definitely have at least one. In addition to that, I would definitely need to have, pens, pencils, paper. I would probably have a little pen case like this for a variety of pens, highlighters, things like that. I would definitely have to have one of my favorite. This would for sure be in my inventory, as would my glasses, so I can read anything that I've got that I need to, my decks, my books, whatever. I would also have a notebook. This is just a Moleskine. This one happens to be the one that I'm using for my Hades and Persephone work, but like any notebook would do. I would just need somewhere to journal, take notes, all that kind of stuff. And in addition to that, I would also have to have my planner. I mean, of course I would have to have my planner. Do you need to be planning while you're out adventuring? I mean, sure, why not? Why couldn't I plan while I was out adventuring? I could plan my adventures. I also happen to have an Astarian charm on that. I mean, y'all have seen my planner. This is a Hobonichi Weeks. And I've got it in a Moterm cover. I show this, I think, just about every month now, where I kind of flip through what I've got going on, what I've done in here and things of that nature. It's kind of memory keeping, as well as, planning and things that I've going on, things that I'm doing. And it just gives me a place to kind of record what I've got going on and when I need to get things done. And then also just memories of things I, did or was working on, or special moments, things like that. So I would definitely have to have my Hobonichi planner. This is going to be a really quick little video, y'all. In addition to that, I would need some books. Like, I would just absolutely have to have some books. I would need a study book, something that I could be dipping in and out of as I'm doing whatever I happen to be studying at the time. Right now, I'm studying Hades and Persephone, so this is the book that I'm currently reading for that. But, whatever it may happen to be at that time, like I said, I would probably have the fairies book in here as well, but I'm not going to drag that out on top of everything else. And then I would need something that's just a fun read. So I pulled this one out. This is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. It's just a fun D&D inspired, a little bit spicy kind of a read. So it's kind of a lighthearted, fun, romantic, rompy sort of story, a little bit of adventure. It's kind of like Legends and Lattes with a little bit more spice to it, a little bit more romance. And I would definitely need something fun to dive into and to just lose myself in, like sitting around the campfire, whatever, if I'm out adventuring. Because I'm assuming, like I said, if I'm in a video game, it's probably going to be some sort of fantasy base, if not maybe sci-fi, perhaps maybe cyberpunk. And you know what? That would probably totally change what's in my inventory. But right now I'm kind of in this world of the fantasy, the Hades, Persephone, fairies, fae, Baldur's Gate 3 kind of place. So this is a pretty good representation of what would be in my loot drop, what would come out of my inventory if I were in a video game world. So I thought this would just be a fun, quick little video to do. I would love to see other people get on board with this. If you know who started this whole thing on, I don't know if it was Instagram or where it actually came from, Claire from Black in the Moon, when she posted it, she wasn't sure where it came from either. So if you happen to know where this idea of a loot drop in terms of your own personal inventory came from, please definitely let me know in the comments, because I would love to give credit. In the meantime, I would absolutely love to know what would be in everybody else's personal inventory. So definitely, like I said, feel free to do a video, feel free to do a post on Instagram or other social media. Please tag me if you do, so I can go take a look, or just leave it it in the comments below. If you're in my Discord, feel free to also drop it there as well. So that's it for me today. That is my loot drop for September, I guess, because it would probably be a little bit different every single month. As always, you'll find links for everything I've shown here in the description box below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I look forward to sharing with you again soon.